Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Welcome back to another energy reading for the week of April 19th, 2021. So how are you all doing today? I hope everyone's having a good weekend following a crazy week, I'm sure. I know myself, I've been kind of dragging my butt lately. I kind of feeling like just tired and lethargic and just kind of just blah, but it's interesting because sometimes when I would get into this place of the ebb, because there's the ebb and flow, right? We're going to talk a little bit about that today. I used to fight it. I used to think, oh God, I can't just lay around and do nothing. Like I have to keep busy. I have to keep doing something. Things are never going to get done if I don't do them, right? And it's interesting because these are all thoughts that have been passed down specifically to women in generation to generation. We were always taught that we can't just sit and do nothing, that we have to keep going, that we have to keep busy. And if you're not busy, then you're lazy, right? And you can't rest unless you're sick or unless you're basically dying, right? So, and it just occurred to me that it's just like, this is something that we do all the time. Hi, Elizabeth, how are you? Thanks so much for coming on. So yeah, I'm just learning to honor. It's interesting because there's two words that you can use for this ebb of the flow. So when you're in the ebb, when you're in that space, when you're getting called to slow down, to reflect, to kind of be into that space, you can either honor it or allow it. And it's interesting because they're kind of almost the same, but not exactly. When you honor something, you are allowing the space, right? But allowing is just almost like putting up with it. It's almost tolerating it, right? It's not, allowing is like, I don't know, sometimes it depends, I guess, what kind of energy you're in when you're saying these things and describing your situation, right? But that's just something to really kind of pay attention to and tune into what you're feeling in the moment, right? And that's what this energy is really calling us to do this week, which is really big. So I titled this the Q&A hashtag Real Talk because I also wanted to let you guys get in on the conversation. And I wanted to allow some questions to be answered. If you guys have any questions or if you're dealing with something right now, feel free to share it in the comments and we can focus our energies on that and bring out the answers out of the energy reading this week. So whether you're watching live or the replay, I think this is a really great opportunity for you to really tap in and I can channel the messages that you need to hear, right? Really, be selfish a little bit and make this about you because really this whole entire thing is all about you, right? You are why I do this. So when I was tapping into the energy for this week, just specifically for right now, I mean, energy changes all the time, right? But lately, I've been noticing a lot of the cocooning coming up. Cocooning, right? That transformational place where you are in the ebb of the flow, right? And again, like I said, a lot of the times I used to fight this all the time. And I learned that the more you allow the ebb, the more you sink in to the cocoon, right? The quicker you're going to get through it, first of all, right? But it's also a gift, right? It's almost like, because you go through each phase in your life, right? You can go through like the hardest part of your entire life. You get tossed around and, ripped apart, and you go through this really emotionally turmoil time. And then all of a sudden, nothing happens. Hi, Kim. Thanks for coming on. And then you're in this place where it's all quiet and you feel uneasy and you feel uncomfortable. And it's like, you just don't know what to do with yourself. Well, this is actually the cocoon, right? That's what this is. It's a gift because it's meant for you to allow yourself to heal, right? And your body knows how to heal itself if you allow it, right? And that's what these ebbs are all about. It's all about tuning into that healing energy, right? When I say healing, what comes to mind? What feelings come up? I bet a little bit of excitement, a little bit of relief, a little bit of probably uneasiness, because we just don't know how to just rest. We don't know how, we've never been taught to heal ourselves, right? That's the biggest thing. So Marla, hi Marla, thanks so much for coming on. She says, been feeling lost and worried about health issues that have been thrown my way. Okay, so let's tune into that. Let's tune into the health issues. Now, the thing about health issues is depending on where they are in your body, because every issue, every health issue that we have has a message, right? And depending on where it is in your body, that would kind of determine what the message is, right? It depends. Now, I want a little bit more clarification, Marla, if you feel comfortable to kind of release that, is just where in your body are you experiencing these issues? Because that's going to really kind of shed a lot of light on it, right? And when you're experiencing these issues, how do they show up? What are they preventing you from doing? Or what are they trying to cover up? A lot of the times these issues sometimes are masks to something bigger, right? Your body your brain can only handle so much overwhelm and anxiety. And eventually when you're on a certain issue for so long, it's going to create another issue so that you can take the focus off of that other issue, right? So then it's not as so heavy. But that's the thing, is that your brain is trying to save you, right? Your brain is like in this place where it's like, well, we're causing too much energy expelled on here, so we're going to focus on something else. And your knee could go out, or you could bump your elbow, or something like that, right? So you're saying, Marla says it's the ovarian and cervical problems. Okay. So that is sacral. That is all sacral. So in that area, sacral is all about allowing pleasures, allowing, tuning into your knowledge center. Because as women, okay, Marla says, I had a cyst and it burst and they found out many other lumps. Okay. So this is something that has been, I feel like you have been storing a lot of traumatic energy in this area. And that's why it's bubbling up. It's bubbling up and it's getting overwhelming. It's getting too much, right? So it could be that you're cutting yourself off from pleasures, enjoying life. You don't get to really enjoy life when you're worrying about these kind of problems, right? And as women, our uterus, our sacral, is our kind of like our brain, our knowledge center, right? It's when you really tune in and feel into something, you're doing it through your sacral. Some of us do it through our solar plexus, which is just at the bottom of our rib cage. But a lot of us do carry a lot of, but Marla, when I tune into that, I do feel that it's just a lot of traumatic energies. And that's what's boiling up. It's literally bubbling up, right? And which is what's happening. So, what I would ask for you to do is tune into the energy itself and ask your body, because you are the voice of God to your body, by the way. And when you talk to your body, which your body loves it when you talk to it, tune into it, even holding your hands over your sacral, over your tummy, right? Over your abdomen, in that area, and not focusing so much on the fears that it can come and bring up, because it's logical to be scared, especially in that part of our body when we're having issues there, right? But I feel like when you tune into it and you ask it, what is it that I need to learn from this? What is this? What are you trying to tell me? What do I need to know? And I feel like it's forgiveness for yourself, for the situations, for the trauma that you've been compacting in that area, right? And it's almost like this energy center is turned off. You haven't used it the way the energy is meant to flow. It feels like there's a blockage there, but it's like a self-imposed blockage where you put up walls to protect yourself, but these walls aren't protecting yourself the way you need them to anymore, right? They're no good anymore. They worked at one point, but they're not working anymore, right? You have to open up at yourself and become more vulnerable and allow the energy to flow. Even tune into the forgiveness that you want to experience, right? Imagine what it would be like to forgive yourself for whatever traumas that you've been holding in there, right? Tune into just what do you need? What does your body need? Because your body is screaming out. Sounds about right, right? Yeah. I really feel like that's what it is. So, and right now the energies in this week for Marla and everybody on here is asking us to cocoon. So this is a perfect time for you to really kind of almost put like pure white light, surround yourself with this cocoon of healing. Envision the healing, because if you don't believe that you could heal, you're not going to, right? The energy goes right off of what you're feeling and thinking and experiencing, right? It's kind of like that compacting element. So that's what I have for you. I hope that it kind of gave you some light, some direction onto where to go with that. But tuning in, forgiving yourself, and then talking to it. And then asking, because that's your pleasure center, right? It's how do you enjoy life? How do you make the best out of things? And you probably haven't been able to do a lot of that, doing the best of things and getting the best of life out of there because you've been so worried and so concentrated on this area, right? But allow it to flow, get the energies to go, and fill it with light, and ask for your guides and your angels to start facilitating the healing that you need. And it's going to come in. Elizabeth says, I hope I have more energy this week because the last one was so draining. I felt so tired and sleepy. I know, Elizabeth, I know it was crazy. Marla, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, good. I know, Elizabeth, I know, like I said earlier, I really honestly felt drained. However, what I also feel, what I really sense out of what came out of last week is, the last couple of weeks, we've had a really big energetic shift, really big shift in consciousness, in the frequency of the planet, right? So when that shift was occurring, we're going into the new earth. So we're kind of vibrating back and forth between 3D and 5D, right? And that can be tiring. It definitely was new moon. Yeah, I know. I feel the same thing too. The new moon is what I feel is triggered this new energies that have come in. It's kind of like facilitating the new energies, which is interesting because new moon means it's completely covered in completely black, right? And that's almost like a portal. I see a new moon. I just got this image now where it's like a portal that opened up and allowed Earth to get penetrated with this new higher frequency, even higher than we've ever experienced before. Which is draining, which is tiring, which is all of that stuff, right? So yeah, no, it definitely is time to settle in to that energy and allow your body to regenerate the way it needs to. Allow it, honor it, allow it, be in that space where things, you know, if you feel unsettled, just sit in that feeling, allow the feeling of unsettling to occur, you know, and see what comes out of that. That's the biggest thing. So I'm just going to check my notes. So yeah, so think of all the things that you're being called to do right now. That's one thing I tuned into is think of what you need to honor, think of what you need to forgive, and think about what you need to release. So Elizabeth says, my boyfriend felt it too. I've been moving like snails all week. Yeah, right? Honor being the snail. That's okay. Sometimes we need to slow things down to get things into perspective, and then things just naturally speed up when they need to, right? So it's funny because we always want to slow down. We always talk about how busy things are and how hard things are, when overwhelming things get. But then when we have an opportunity to slow down and actually sit and do nothing, what do we do with it? We fill our minds with guilt and shame because we feel like we need to keep going and we need to keep doing, and we forget that we wanted this, right? We asked for this. And that's what I think is so funny about it, right? So contradicting. So think about what you need, what you're being called to honor, forgive, and release this week. That's big. And then tune into the flow of the universal energy, this infinite abundance of energies around you. So it's interesting because we're going to be getting into a little bit of a funner topic right away. Snail, I love it. So what I want you to do is to begin to access the energies of around you, of the infinite universe of your own areas. Think about what you can see, smell, hear, touch right now. Just think about that for a second. Kind of these, you just start with the basics, right? So you can hear, the background noises, or you can hear the vents blowing air, or depending on it, if you can hear traffic outside or whatever, right? Like you can hear things, you can feel the temperature in the room, you can kind of feel the air. You can smell the smells of the room, right? I just sprayed some essential oils so I can smell that, which is beautiful. And then you want to tune into what's beyond that. What's beyond everything around you, the physical? What's beyond that? That is what we're being called to do this upcoming week, is start tuning into your present moment, becoming present in your body, feeling the clothes touching your body, the warmth of your skin, right? Feeling the emotions that are running through your bodies, the energies. Now tune into what's beyond that. What's on the other side of that? What's behind these other senses, right? And then start to kind of use your imagination. It's all about visualization, right? And using your mind. Because that's the thing, we come to Earth, before we come to Earth, did you know that you can't come to Earth unless you've learned to master manifestation and creating before you come here? This is the place to master it, but you can't come here unless you learn that. And that's in the spirit realm before we even come to Earth, which is crazy. A little fact for you. So we've come here to master beyond our senses. We started out with our senses. We know very well how to, use our senses in our day-to-day lives. But now it's time to push the barriers, push what you can actually sense, what's beyond that. And then feel into the energy that makes up your aura around you. We all have auras. We're all very familiar with that, whether you know a lot about it or a little bit about it. All it is your energy bubble, right? It surrounds you, it protects you, it kind of gives you that sense of tuning in, right? And then beyond the aura is our Merkaba, right? This energy, basically what the Merkaba is your transportation vehicle for your consciousness, right? That's how we go off to do our astral travels and out-of-body experiences and things like that. So our Merkaba is very important, but a lot of us don't really know about it. And it's all about tuning in to that. So now I want you to really sit in your body, get a sense of what it feels like first to be in your body, and then slowly just come forward out of your body. Your physical body is here, but you are just right above it, right in front of it. And then feel around, just kind of sense, go back and forth and flow into just in your aura. What does that feel like, right? Just kind of even sense it. Like just put your arms out and sense your aura. Your aura itself goes about 6 to 10 feet out in all directions around you. So that's why you can always feel somebody coming up behind you. When they step into your aura field, you can feel that before they even touch you, right? Because it's like 6 to 10 feet wide all around. So just get a sense of that. And then once you're in your aura, once you really kind of feel into your aura, you can actually activate your Merkaba, which is super exciting, right? Your Merkaba, that's how you're going to connect to the Akashic records, to the etheric realms, to the multi-universes, to all these crazy, amazing places that are accessible for us, right? And that's what I was really tuning into this week, is we are being called to turn on our psychic abilities. And doing this exercise, feeling into your physical body, and then stepping out of your physical body and into your aura and feeling your aura, and then going beyond that and what's beyond that, that is how we become psychic. That is how we tune into the energy. That is how you're going to get all the answers that you need, right? It's just learning to train that muscle, right? So that is the fun part of this week. That is what you're being called to do. You're being called to strengthen your psychic abilities, which, by the way, everybody has. We're all born with innate sense of intuition, right? We all know we are intuitive in some way, shape, or form. Marla says, I'm struggling to get past the pain in my body and to get out of it. Any ideas to get past this? You can't get out of it until you fully accept it. You have to sit in it. You have to feel it to heal it, right? So until you get to this place where you fully accept it and forgive, and you almost have to sit in your body for a while. You're gonna have to, you may not be able to do that second step of stepping out into your aura until you get to a good place with your temple, with your body, right? Because you and your body are kind of butting heads right now, right? It's like, pay attention to me. No, I can't. I'm afraid to. I don't want to. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of at odds with each other. So until you get to a common place, you won't be able to take that second step, if that makes sense. I hope. But yes, so if you are ready to get into that place, it's just a practice. It's just doing it over and over and over again, getting familiar with what it feels like to kind of get into that place. Yeah, so really, then you got to take it to the next step, right? You got to look into, what does being psychic mean to you? What would that do for you if you could turn on that? It's like a light switch, really. It's just a matter of when you are ready for it, right? It's going to open up, when you ask for it, and if you are ready for it, you're going to be able to just bring it in. And it takes time to build. I'm not going to lie. It is truly a muscle. And the more and more you use it, little bits by here, there, it will grow, right? So what does it mean to be psychic to you? Kind of explore that. Maybe, Marla, that's maybe a good place for you to start, is just figuring out what it means to be that, right? And then kind of get more in touch with your body. And have you ever explored this area of your life before? Is this something that you've ever really, if you have explored this place in your life, but then you jumped out of it because you were afraid, if you were met with fear, explore that. Say, what about this makes me so scared? A lot of the times, the fear of stepping into our psychic abilities is because we have been persecuted for it in a past life. And that energy is still carried and bled over into this life, right? And it's understandable, because we're actually in a time now where we are like accepted as being psychic or in tune, or intuitive, and it's acceptable. And people aren't being persecuted for it anymore. They're not being shut down, and they're not being burned at the stake anymore, right? We're not being punished for being ourselves. And the only reason why it was a punishment was because it's a power like no other. And the elites, the people that were in charge in the churches, in all of those areas, the people who led the persecution, they didn't want us to find out that we were psychic or that we could have this ability, because then we would become more powerful than them. And they are the ones that are just, they don't have that ability. They don't. They never did, and they never will. And that's why they wanted to, dumb us down, right? But I'm here to say, you do, and you can, and you will, right? That's just it. It's just accepting, like, holy shit, there's this whole other side of me that I can explore now, and I'm not going to get burned at the stake for it now anymore. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of the times. That's was the biggest thing for me, is being called a witch. I was never witchy. There are wonderful witches out there. Beautiful. They're earth witches. There's angel earth. Like, there's all these, but I was never really considered myself that, right? But in a past life, when people don't know anything about you, or you know something that they don't know, or they know, you know, yeah, they were persecuted for it. So Marla says, I haven't, but I have always had dreams. When I remember them, they've come true a couple months later. And when it starts happening, to happen, I get the weirdest feelings, and I already, as if it has already happened, right? Because you've already tapped into that part of you. You have that innate part that knows to connect to the other side of the veil, right? And so it's just about allowing it to your curiosity. And when you are met with fear, say, thank you, fear. Thank you for serving me, serving a purpose at one point in time of my life, but I'm okay now. I can move past this. I appreciate you. I send you love and gratitude, but I release fear because I don't need to be afraid anymore, right? And when you're getting those weird tingly feelings, take note of them. Mark them down in your diary or your journal, or like in your notepad in your on your phone, and kind of just play with it a little bit, right? Ask the universe for certain things and see how they come in, or if they come in, or if you're getting those premonitions or those dreams. I know lately, because the new energies that are coming into Earth right now, we are getting a lot more vivid dreams. We're also in the lifetime where karmic ties are now coming to an end, and we're all being called to, you know, end those karmic cycles. So that's another thing that could be coming up a lot too, is in dreams, when you're dreaming of somebody from like high school or junior high or even elementary, right? Somebody from a long time ago is coming back up in your dreams. It's only because that chapter is closing. Like, you don't have to reach out to them and close it and get closure yourself. Sometimes it's just the energies of those dreams that are playing out to closing those chapters in your lives, right? So if you're getting those weird feelings, document them. See, and then that's how you build the muscle, by the way, too, is when you're documenting these weird tingly feelings and what they feel like, what you're sensing. When you're documenting them, you kind of just make note of what it is that you feel, how it's coming in, where in your body is it coming in, right? Where's these tingles happening? And then get a little more curious about it. Ask your guides for clarification too. That's the biggest thing, is your guides are always there, by the way. Your guides are just like waiting for you to call on them. They're like, I know the answer, just ask me. But you have to ask, right? You have to ask. They can't intervene. That's just law of the universe, free will, right? So if we ask for them to explain something, just say, hey, what does this mean? I don't understand this. Tell me what's behind this. What is this trying to tell me? What am I supposed to learn? What am I supposed to experience, right? And kind of just become a little bit more curious about it and see what comes up out of that. That is the fun part. Okay, I could probably talk about this all day, really. So yeah, to me, okay, so yeah, I also wrote down what being psychic means to me. It's just being able to see on the other side of the veil with clarity, right? Being aware that we're not the only life forms in this universe. We've never been the only life forms in this universe. We actually are from, other planets, other universes, other galaxies, other places. So it's just knowing that this human body that we're in right now isn't the end all be all. There is so much more to it, right? Okay. So I know I've been talking a lot, and I just wanted to tune in to the, what I wanted to do is I did have my crystal deck that I wanted to bring out and see what crystal would help us really get through the energies this week, or what would just really just help us this week to kind of open that psychic ability, psychic portal. And a lot of that energy is connecting through your heart space, by the way. And your third eye is insight, and your heart is the portal to the universe, right? The universal love consciousness. So when you're tapping in, you really want to turn on these portals, your third eye specifically, and your heart, and your sacral. Your sacral is a big part of that too, especially for women, right? That's how we get our intuitive hits. Okay, so I want to know what crystal will help us through this week. Ooh. Okay, so this I think is playing off of the energy that bled over into this week. Sorry, just a sec. Okay, so the crystal that came up was amber. Amber is the crystal. So what it says is, are you allowing someone or something to drain your energies, right? So establish clear boundaries. Surround yourself in protective shields to deflect negative energies. Tap into the ancient wisdom within to transform your life. It's interesting because I always love the validation and the clarification that we get from the cards after the reading, after the channeling. But it's also, I feel that that's kind of pulling over from last week's energy. Just again, tuning into that healing vibration, that healing frequency, right? What is it when you think of healing? You're tapping into that energy. And when you really tap into the feeling of healing, you're bringing that energy more and more into your body, right? Feeling is inside. So when you're feeling the healing, imagine just what it would be like to heal. Just even if you close your eyes, and if you have something in your body, like Marla said, she has her cysts and so I would love for you just to tune into that sometime and just tune in and just imagine what it would be like if that was healed. Imagine what it would be like when you no longer have to feel that pain. Imagine what it's going to be like when you do heal. How light is it going to be? How airy is it going to be? How much flow are you going to have? How much energy is going to be available to you, right? Really tune into it, into that place, into that area. The more and more you tune into that frequency of healing, the more and more healing that's going to come to you, just so you know. So on the back of this, so amber, now this is a crystal that I personally don't even have, which is interesting because I have almost every single one. But yeah, so amber is it is an earth crystal, right? It's very earthy. It's also, the color of amber is that sacral color, orange, right? So that's really tuning into that space again. So Marla, your energy is very powerful. It's pulling the cards, really. But really tune into that. If you have an amber, I would say just lay with it on your belly. Lay with it on your belly. Tune into that. Tune into a protective shield. And your shield is your aura. Now, if you feel like you have energy leakages in your aura, the simple exercise that you could do just to repair it, it's because your aura is almost like pantyhose. Imagine it like pantyhose right now. Why am I crying right now? Because you're healing. I love it. I love it. I know I shouldn't be excited about somebody crying, but honestly, I always am, because that means that you're healing. Something came up and out. That is freaking awesome. The power of healing, because you tapped in to that healing energies, Elizabetha. You tuned into that. You activated that in your energy field, and now it's flowing, which is making you cry, because that is a purge, and that is okay. I love you. Okay, so on the back of this card, it actually has affirmations that we can remind ourselves all week. And this one is actually the Angel of Boundaries. The Angel of Boundaries. Okay, so the affirmation, it says, I have the courage to set boundaries with love and grace, and I am hereby protected from negative energies. I am connected with powerful ancient wisdoms that keep me safe and provide me with the know-how to make the positive changes. So you can use a variation of that, but really tune into, I honestly feel like just tuning into the frequency of what it feels like to heal is going to be enough to start the healing. Obviously, because Elizabeth just did it and now she's crying. So that's okay. Tears are good. Tears are healing. Okay, so now I'm just going to get my sacred geometry deck and I want to ask our guides and our angels, what energy frequency do we need to activate in our energy field, so in our aura, to attract what we need this week to heal? Because clearly healing is on the agenda. Look, that's just what's coming up, right? So that's good. Good. Healing is good, right? But what do we need to activate within our aura, in our energy fields, in order to get the best, highest healing? Still crying. Keep it, let it go. Keep crying. That's okay. Just let it out. It probably feels almost good to cry, I'm assuming. No, sometimes you get to that point where you're like, I don't know why, but it feels good, but I'm going to keep doing it, right? Just do it. Just keep going. Okay. What do we need to activate in our energy fields to allow healing to occur? I need the book for this one because this is going to be interesting. Okay. Number 42. What came out? Can you see it? It's tantric. What is it? A tantric journey. But now, of course, when you think of tantric, you can only think, me personally, I can only think of tantric sex, right? I'm not sure if that's what this card is actually tuning into, but that's my perverted brain. It just goes there. It says, so this is the energy. So by the way, this is the energy that, yes, it is. Yeah, no kidding. Good. This is the energy that we need to activate in our auric field this week to get the healing that we need. Now, I'm going to tell you a little something. It might be TMI for you, but I'm just pre-warning you about orgasms, because orgasms is actually like the essence of completeness, like oneness, right? And that energy is so potent, which is the most healing you can ever get, right? So I can see how this is tied in. It says the frequency of tantric journey helps us to unlock the hidden knowledge and wisdom that we instinctively hold about how to reach the state of wholeness and completion through our sensual experiences with ourselves and with one another. So really getting into that place, pleasure center, sacral, that's all sacral right there, right? Tantric journey. So you're activating that frequency in your aura. I want to hear what the book has to say about this. So 42. Okay, so it says the journey into Tantra is about expansion of consciousness. The word Tantra can be related to that which goes on expanding. Interesting. It primarily uses senses as a pathway towards focusing the mind and ultimately letting go of that mind to reach the state of internal oneness. So really honing in on, Marla, I feel like I keep pulling this towards me. Interesting. The tantric? Maybe it's a call. So it's basically coming together, coming in to yourself, and just honoring the oneness that you hold inside of you, right? So it primarily uses the senses of pathway towards focusing the mind, ultimately letting go. So through sexual sensations, one of the most powerful sensations that humans can experience, we can achieve a state of union with ourselves or one another. As spiritual beings in a corporeal vehicle, we can access our multi-dimensional nature through our physical body, letting our senses guide us, or our senses to guide us into this vast universe that lies right beneath our skin, right? The sense, right? Our skin holds those, the sense that, I don't know how else to say it. It's just that feeling, that knowing, that connectiveness, right? We can touch, we feel, right? So get into that place, right below the skin is where we have that. So it says the tantric journey shows, imagine shows the intersecting triangle. So, the image, that's what it's talking about. Okay, so if you can see, the image shows the intersecting triangles as reference to the union between the masculine and feminine, right? So you can see that, where the upward triangle represents the masculine and the downward triangle represents the feminine. The purple represents the connection to source as basis of our expanding consciousness. The petals and the orange center represents the second chakra, the sacral, right? That's what we've been talking about. A lot of sacral stuff today. The seat of our sexuality expression, as well as our emotions and our creativity, which is very interesting. The swirling circles in the center represent the part of the origin off of this planet. So the blue is associated with the clear expression of truth, and the squares represent the form-based world that we experience as spiritual beings in a physical body. So it kind of just all pulls it together right there, right? But that's interesting. Sacral has come up a lot. And then we get the tantric card, right? So there's that pleasure center, and it's all about activating that energy within your auric field to get the healing, the oneness, the wholeness that you need in order to get out of this cocoon alive. Well, we're going to get out alive, trust me. But that's very interesting, is it not? Very interesting. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to do was quickly, animal, our animals, right? I get lost in this, going over time here. Okay, so I hope everyone's been getting the healing messages that they've been needing this week. I know it's a beautiful thing to kind of tap into these energies and know that you have this frequency available to you at all times. You just have to put the conscious effort in, which is just a thought. You got to put that out there to bring in the energies that you require, that, you need to build on. So Elizabeth says, I was going to suggest something earlier and I hope you did not mind, to Marla. Oh, Marla. Okay. Whoops. I just lost the message, sorry. But I feel like you are not connecting to yourself and allowing yourself to pure expression. You're not overstepping, my dear. Not at all. This is all of us coming together as this collaborated experiment. It's almost like us coming together to see how well we can work and mesh together, right? So this is beautiful. That is awesome. See? She doesn't mind at all, right? But you're right. You're absolutely right. Connecting to yourself is the disconnection is what's causing that disharmony, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so let's find out what animal totem in this week is going to lead us through the week. What animal message? Now, for those of you, I don't know if you can notice, remember a couple days ago I actually posted the video of the deer that came to my house, which is crazy. I was just walking from my kitchen into my living room, and all of a sudden in the living room window, like by the time I got out and took the video, he were on the other side of the fence already, but the deer was right in front of my window, which was blowing my mind, and looking at my dog on the couch in the window. It was crazy. And I'm like, at first I'm like, did we get a statue? Like, what is that? And then it was just standing so still, and it was so majestic. And it's like the eyes of the deer is so deep and soulful. Oh my God, it blew me away. I'm in a very like residential area, right? There's a lot of houses, a lot of things on the other side. There's an open field, but yeah, it totally blew me away. So I had to share that with you guys. See, I love how you guys are just going together and helping each other out. This is what it's all about. It's about bringing everyone together and helping each other and supporting all of us together. Right? That's so awesome. I love you guys. Okay, I gotta get back into this. This is the one that wants to come out. Ooh, okay. So, the animal of the week is a bear. Animal of the week. The bear is he's got so much wisdom, and that's what he carries through. So the energy of wisdoms from the healing that we're gonna start to activate in our energy fields is really what's gonna carry us through this week, right? Lots of sacral, lots of energy, lots of coming in, lots of coming to this place of oneness, right? That's what it really is about. And the bear's message is use the power within, which is the wisdom. Use the power within. So I'm going to quickly just check the book and see what the message of the bear has. So the guidance of the bear card suggests that you have the wisdom within you that enables you to establish the power and use it correctly. Such a big deal, right? For this, it is important for you to be in an environment where you are happy and free, right? So if you're feeling suffocated and, closed in on, maybe that's something for you to take a look at. Maybe that's something needs to shift, something needs to change, something needs to be let go of, right? So it says, examine your world. And if you need to make changes, ask Archangel Uriel. So that's a good tip right there. Those are tools that you can totally tune into, right? So ask Archangel Uriel to help you. You can ask them all the time. Like I said before, all you have to do, they're just waiting and waiting for you to ask. You just have to be there and tag them in. Say, hey, tag me in. You're tagged, you're in, right? Like, come on in, angels. So Archangel Uriel will strengthen your solar plexus chakra so that you can feel confident and strong, right? You may need to walk alone while you reclaim your wisdom and worth. If so, use this opportunity to create your own cocoon so that source light can touch you. I'm going to read that again because I think that's the most important line I read this entire reading. Use this opportunity to create your own cocoon. And literally at the beginning of this message that was the main message of the week is cocoon, right? So the healing of the cocoon so that when you're in that cocoon, when you're in that space, source light can heal you. Source light can come in and allow your body to do its natural job, which is to heal. It knows how to heal itself. You just need to allow it to. And that comes, I love how this all comes full circle, right? So open your crown and let Archangel Jophiel pour in this crystal yellow light through your crown chakra, right into you, right all the way through you, expanding your heart so that you can spread peace and love. That is beautiful. That is damn beautiful. All right, those are our messages this week. We have a lot. You can even tune into the bear. I would even suggest playing around with it because with the theme of expanding your psychic abilities and tuning into your intuition and things like that, the bear holds a lot of wisdom. So if you tune in to just think about the life of a bear, think about what they do, how they see, even see through their eyes and see what it feels like to be in that body, that innate wisdom of the body, right? That, I think, is another tool that is a beautiful healing tool that'll help you through this week as well. Okay, so Marla says, I feel this card is hitting me. I started to tear. Beautiful! We have tears all over the place. And like I said, it's probably not a good thing for me to be excited about that, but that just means that you're healing. That something hit you. Something penetrated through that hard, thick shell that you've created around yourself to protect yourself, but now we're piercing through it. And those piercing holes are actually filling with light. And that is what's going to heal you. All right. So I want to send you guys so much love and so much light, and I will see you again very, very soon. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. Mwah. Take care. Much love.